Oh, should I turn it up? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna take it back to this, I think. Now I feel like I went higher. Oh my gosh. Make a wish, everybody. Let's see. That was me making my wish, bro. It was a long one, but it was a good one. It was a good one. I'm probably not gonna wear these glasses most of the night because my eyeballs are a little tired. To be fair, I'm a little tired. I'm excited to be here, but I'm a little tired. I felt called to be here, so I'm here, but I'm a little tired. And it's probably just because it's been an emotional day today. Um, Although, albeit a timeless reading, it is October. It's a full moon today. Um, it's the year 2025, full moon in Aries. A lot of energy. It's a lot of energy, okay? And there's probably a big old, energetic fire, moving throughout the day. There was a lot of energetic currency going throughout the day, so that kept the engine going. And now I'm like, the sun needs to set a little bit. The fire needs to go into like a little small flame. Still there, just a resting flame, you know what I mean? And that's what it feels like. But while I get myself just a little bit more situated, because I feel like things are a little off. There we go. Oh, look, looking like an A. Who I truly am. Welcome. Welcome to Embodied Spirituality. I am your host, Ashante Marie, and this is where we have a conversation with Spirit, the Most High, and they have a message for you, me, and me. Okay. Um, I'm probably going to start doing some other type of videos too. I feel like that's coming up for me, but I also don't know exactly what I want that to look like. So, but we're getting there. My biggest goal for a long time was just like showing up and recording, um, videos more consistently. I've been doing like 1 to 3, I would say, a week for the last couple of weeks. And not having such a like rigid timeline as to when I show up, but just like making sure I show up when I feel called and I have the right time, enough ample time to record it since Spirit wants me to be in long form. I'm sure we're going to shift into short form because I'm like, God, I'll listen, but like, help a sister out. Um, Help, help. So, yeah, that's the vibes. That's the energy a little bit. 4:11 on the clock. Yay. Um, let's see. Disclaimers. I cuss a little bit. I'm about to stop giving these disclaimers because if a piece of me, I don't like to like overly apologize for who I am, and especially not in a space where I'm meant to be, um, and show up as the authentic version of myself, which is who I like to rock with. So to be like apologetic over me, like cussing a little bit is irritating actually after a while. So I'm probably gonna pull back on that. And there was a 449 on this clock and a 944 on the other clock message. Okay. Um But I think if I do tend to get a little bit more spicy on spicier days, then maybe I'll give a little bit of like a blurb. But today, I don't even know if I even feel like all of that. I don't even know if I have like the energy for all of that extra cussing, you know? And that's not what this video is. This is more of a gratitude video today. It's going to talk about some real stuff. But I'm share my story. I feel like recently when I've been on these videos, I've been sharing, you know, maybe more than what sometimes I feel comfortable. No, like sometimes more than what I'm sure that what I feel like I should share sometimes on here. But so many people vlog their life and tell their stuff. So I kind of feel like this is like vloggy form and spirit conversation form. And maybe I'll figure out what that's called or how to spin it better. But like that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm vlogging, and then while vlogging, I'm sharing like my spiritual insights, and what the divine has shown me throughout the last couple of days or weeks or whatever. Um, and I'm sharing it with you guys so that if you guys are on the same journey or similar journeys or having similar experiences, that hopefully you guys are, you know, being led the right way with God too, with the Most High too. But if you don't know by the title, this is a spirituality channel. We're going to be talking about God, the Most High, the Divine, and you can use whatever words work for you. Okay, but let me let you know that we just rock with the Most High over here. Okay, the Most High, the Divine. So when I say God, that's who I'm talking about. Okay. And even when I call on my ancestors, I'm calling on the highest light of my ancestors, the most healed versions of my ancestors, you know, for and in the greatest good of all involved. Okay. So that's how we rock over here. But I did want to say that I'm grateful because right before I got on here, I realized that I've had 50 videos on this channel. And not all of them were the most recent, but I want to say the last like 35 or so has been the most recent. Some other ones came from over the years. So just excited that I've been showing up. I do need to do what I need to do to, I guess, make it better. But I also have just been, again, in that space of like, build the ship and it'll come. And this is like, you know, build it and they will come. Sorry, not the ship. But I guess, you know, whatever. Build it and they will come. And I just feel like that's where I'm at. I'm just in the like, I'm gonna build it. Like I don't know who's about to show up. I don't know like who's this gonna reach. You know, I'm not, you know, there's so many readers that I feel like I listen to that have like big channels, who have big followings, who are like, can you just like say something? Like I need some level of validation, which is funny that we all kind of need validation sometimes in a way. Just to know that we're like on the right track. Um, but to be in a space where it's like my audience is building, like literally from the ground up, the validation has to be like from source and self and sourced self-sourced, you know, messages. Um, so it's been an interesting journey, I'll tell you. But if you're catching this video and it has like 1,000 likes and like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Or 20,000 likes. That's what I really like. 20,000 likes, you know, so many, you know, thousands of comments. Um, Good looking, bruh. But no. And then also take it as encouragement, I would say. Like if you're catching look, catch the message. If it's in the room, 949. Oh my God. It was 949 on the clock and 949 on the clock. Message. Okay. If you are catching this video and it has so many views and so many likes and X, Y, and Z, I don't even care if you're one of the first people here up in here, okay? Liking and subscribing and whatever. Just know that if you wanted to do something, whether it be having your own social media, doing your own shit, like that is full blown confirmation that you can do whatever you want, that you can build whatever you want and build it and they will come. Like proof. Oh my God. It's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the moment where I look back on this video and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to be like, we manifested that shit. Like God said, God said, God said. I'm just saying. I'm just saying I'm really excited and I just need y'all to be on my train, okay? I need y'all to be on the excitement train. Yes. So Ballin. That's why that was the last word. Ballin. Even though I was driving home, the bus that was in front of me, 22 may be a number for you. 11:04 on the clock. I'm telling you, there's these numbers just out here today. 22 was on the bus, and then it said "Go Ballers," and I said that feels like that's a message for me. Ballin', go Ballers. That's me. That's me. Ballin'. You know what I mean? Anyways, I felt like that was encouragement from the universe, so I'm just here to share it a little bit. Okay. Oh my gosh, so many things. You see how excited I got? See how excited I got? That's spirit doing its work. Anywho. Anywho. Okay, what was the things today? What are we talking about? Title. That's how I like to drop in after this. Sorry, my hair was in a bun all day. And I only just took it out when I got home. So, to do this video, plus I just needed to bring it down, you know. Reiki. Speaking of Reiki, I get Reiki. If you're into it, if you're about it, and you want to experience some or more, if you haven't experienced and you want to experience more, like reach out, give me a call, drop a comment, you know. My information is somewhere. Find it. I'm not trying to say it like that, spirit. I'm gonna put it on here. We get in there. Which comes really quickly. We're gonna come back to Reiki. Which comes to me wanting to tell you guys that I am going to not take like a long break or anything, but I'm going to, for sure, I think take the next like 3 days, 13 on the clock, like 3 days to just kind of tap into myself for a little bit. I think because I've been on this like flexi train when it comes to videos, there's been some like underlying current of like, am I going to make it today? Am I going to make it today? Am I going to make it today? And I need to kind of take that energy off of my plate for a little bit so that I can like lock back into some other stuff that I want to do, or like knowing how I want to progress and move this forward. So I'm going to be taking a couple of days for sure. So maybe I'll do a video on Friday or something like that, like 3 full days. Or I'll see you maybe a little bit later on the weekend. But just know I'm going to be back. I'm not going too far. I just need a moment. I feel like there's been a lot of energy and currency buildup over the last couple of months. And I feel like we're finally getting to a point where it's like the bubble is being a little popped, the air is being let out, even though it may be slight, like the air is being let out of the balloon in a good way, you know, as if you were building up all of this tension and like, and finally you're able to like exhale a little bit, you know? So, that definitely feels like that's what's going on. But speaking about Reiki, I do those things. I do those things. It really is life changing, and I feel like more people should experience it. I want to share it more. So again, if you're interested, if you're down, if you want to learn more, if you want to have a conversation about it, like hit me up. My website is somewhere around here, um, and I'll drop my information soon. But that's what I'm going to do with my break. In the break, I'm going to try and be more diligent about what I drop in, like having my little blurbs a little bit more together, you know? So yeah, I'm excited. The name of this video, how we're getting into the title 15 minutes in. The name of this video is Facing the Music. And I wanted to call a video Facing the Music for the last few weeks or so because I feel, and especially in the last week specifically, because I've been going through my own personal transitions and, you know, maybe stress factors, which we're also going to practice letting go of too, because, bruh, who needs it? You know? And maybe it's just a reframing. Maybe it's just a perspective shift to help me move in a different way so that I'm not stressed, you know? So, anyways, that is Facing the Music. So, as I was approaching, I had a. How much do I want to share, Spirit? Only let me share as much as I want to share, please. Or that's meant for me to share. Or what's meant for them to hear. Okay. So I had a deadline for a payment. Great. I had a deadline for a payment that was needed to be due by like the end of September. And I had so long to do it. And I imagined that I was going to be either fully caught up or mostly caught up, okay, to whatever that was. You know, life has its uncertainties at moments and, you know, waves and its ebbs and its flows. And I knew even getting close to September, I was like, bro, we're not about to make the deadline. And to be honest, it feels like I'm further away from the deadline, right? In one aspect. Now, not so much. Protective and perspective shift, but protective, I felt that. So, anyways, this whole situation was going to potentially affect some other things. Like it could have been a really big trickle down effect. You know, worst case scenario, right? Could have just really had a terrible trickle down effect. And of course, I tried to stay positive throughout the whole time and, you know, do my due diligence and work hard and try and book extra lessons and to do what I need to do. But it was still just like, bruh, like, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. And it came to a point where it just felt like, you know, I have to talk to these people about the payment. Like, whoever this is due to, I need to have a conversation because, like, one, I can't do it in that way. I have this little help that can happen over here, and not little, like, definitely big. Okay. But this help that can help so much of it, right? Of the situation. I have things that I can do that I have access to, like I can do Reiki, you know. I continue to do, I can teach more, you know. So I'm like, like I can offer my services, you know, and like I felt like that even then. So sending that email was like, okay, let's face the music, right? Like we're at the threshold. you need to, state what it really is, you know. Um, but that like came through, you know, having conversations, asking for help, crying, you know, because in a way I don't want to have to ask for help. I don't like I even though like that's the thing that's been coming up in like the theme that's been coming up 2020 in our readings, like it's still like a practice that I need to work on, asking for help. And I think it may feel a different way when you're asking for help and it's not in like this like dire like the rope is slipping out of my hand situation. Um, I think one, practicing asking for help sooner could probably alleviate a lot of things. Um, but just asking for help in general. I don't care if you did it what time, what felt like late, what felt like late, because maybe that was divine timing. It's teaching you one thing in another space too. Um, just like I feel like I'm learning a lot. I feel like I'm learning a lot from this situation, um, in so many ways. And, I'm just going to be better for it. I know I'm going to be better for it. I know I'm going to be better for it. So, accepting heaven's help, there was still like, yeah, that energy this weekend of like, ask for help and be open to receive. Like, that is also a thing too. And that's also a thing too. So, okay. So, getting help from this source, right? They said they were going to help me. And I'm like, that makes me feel better. Yes. It helps solve a portion of the issue. Yes. But a piece of me is reluctant to receive because then it feels like spreading debts around. You know what I mean? Um, because we always feel like we need to owe somebody back. And that's not always the case. And like again, everything is always going to work out. Everything is always working out for you. Everything is always working out for you. It's so hard to remember in those tough times. God, spirit, like it's so hard to remember in those tough times. But that's what faith is. That's what hope is. Like that's the point. And how do you know if you have faith? How do you know if you have hope? And I know that I was like holding on for hope and holding on with faith for so long. And I felt like I didn't, I felt like I was running out of it. And then I asked for help. And help came, you know? And maybe that was a part of the prayers. That was the faith. I needed to have faith enough to be able to have faith enough in myself to ask and have faith enough to know that there's help out there and there's help to be received. And like, there's help to be received. But we're so big and we're so bad and we got to do it on our own. We're so big and we're so bad and we got to do it on our own. We got to be 1,000% self-made. But then we also want to say it takes a village. So which one is it? Which one is it? Are we self-made? Are we village-made? Jesus. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It may be hidden for you guys. I hope that it does because it's hitting for me and it's coming out of my mouth. But God said it. Like, God put the words together, okay? But Okay. So yeah, receiving help. It's hard sometimes. Sometimes I feel like for takers, it's hella easy. I feel like for takers, people who are takers, it's hella easy. But in a lot of ways, I feel like a lot of my life has been like giving, you know. I do love to receive. I love to be gifted. I love money falling from the sky. I love to be treated. I love all that stuff, you know. So there's certain levels of receiving that I think I'm very comfortable with. I feel like when it's spontaneous, you know, I don't know. Like I'm down, you know? But then when it's like, bruh, y'all already knew that asking for help was hard. So now I gotta like be open to receiving. Like that's it's funny how it shouldn't even be that big of a thing, but somehow it can be that big of a thing on the inside. And like that's literally what I'm here for, just to show you guys, like share and show that like it's okay to be feeling these feelings. It's okay to go through this dance in your head. But lo and behold, and is that the right statement that I want to say? Lo and behold, high and behold, the best that was foretold. um, so even in that, getting help from that source, I still needed to have a conversation and ask for more help, essentially. Help in, you know, it's so weird. Oh, processing. Okay. Asking for help from like the person who's requesting the stuff. And it's like, that was stressful in itself when I tell you I was going on. I have faith, but then I have stress. I have faith, and then I have stress. And it's like they say, don't pray and worry. And that's something I really needed to practice more this weekend. And there was moments I did. There was moments I did because after like Friday, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna trust. But then today, when I knew I was gonna have a conversation, when I knew I was really gonna face another part of the music, right? I was just like, and I know that I'm working on myself. I know that this is a process. I know that this is an abundance mindset shift. You know, there's like gunk being, you know, picked up, drug out, you know, like excommunicated while new things are being like formed and built and, you know, and restructured even. Well, that just like made me like nauseous and like up here, you know, which is funny because you know your heart chakra is related to money and your abundance. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the lower chakras that can tie into that abundance and belief of abundance and stuff, but really like it's in your heart chakra, okay? Currency, energy, sharing of love, energy, cycling, you know, all of that. All of that. So when things are shifting and being dredged up and kicked out and new things are forming and, you know, gaining its roots and foundation in order to build an even stronger like tower or whatever, a bridge or whatever. Um, one, it's going to take some patience. Two, it may make you feel not that great. And it may feel like a lot of ick. You know what's interesting even about that thought though? This weekend, I was driving to my sister's and I was watching somebody else's video, 10:10 on the clock. I was watching somebody else's video and not on your clock, on my clock. Somebody else's video, and you know, by the title of the video or by like the picture of the card or the words that they had on the card, I didn't like, I had an idea of what I thought the video was going to be about, and even in the title I had an idea of what the video was going to be about. More so 10:10. I then listened to the reading, and then first up she was talking about like an ex, you know. And I think I was like, I had just made the last. Did I just freeze? Okay, that felt pertinent. Um, in the last video I made, I had like a reference towards a certain ex, and I felt like in that video I was like, oh my god, she's kind of speaking to that. And she like, that was only really like the first or second card, and then like, and she only pulls 6, right? Which is great, but it's like her own deck. Um, yeah, like the first card had to do with him, but then like the second card was like a transition into a new person, and the rest were like related to that, but more so just like healing pieces of yourself. And how she was speaking to it, how she was really like preaching. Okay, I was like, I ended up like, I was chewing ice or whatever, and I don't know if just like the ice or the, you know, liquid went down the wrong pipe, but at a certain point I was like choking a little bit. And but I had gotten it out, but then it just felt like there was like a different level of phlegm that was in my throat. 32:23 on the clock, that was in my throat, that I was just like, I kept coughing, and I was like, the water is cleared by now, but now there's some like weird phlegm. And of course, yeah, sure, I can like downgrade. Oh, downplay, that was the thing. I could downgrade like and just like chalk it up to being like, oh, it's just the ice creating mucus that's pulling it up in your throat. Sure, 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 sure. But at the same time, I felt like I was like, oh, spirit, you're trying to like get some shit out of me, because I had taken a bath earlier that day and I felt like it was like some things that needed to change and shift and move, and things that are, you know, clearing itself out. And I was like, well, if this is to get this out, I'm like, spirit, get it out. So like pretty much the entire rest of the reading, which was the rest of the drive, about 15, 20 minutes or so. 15, I guess at that point. I'm like trying coughing out and it's like only a little bit of mucus here and there, but it's like, and clear white, but it would like needed to come out. And because I was like, spirit, whatever needs to come out, if that's what his energy needs to continue to be coughed out, girl, let me cough it out. Okay, because we're here for evolution, and we're here for change, and we're here for healing. And you know, to me, I feel like we are past this. We are past this. And if there is any residue and residual shit that's lit, like, let it go. Get it out. Let it go. Get it out. Get it out. So that's just an interesting like thought that I wanted to share. Back into the asking for help the second time. Excuse me. Receiving help. The thing that I wanted to bring up about interesting receiving help, especially like if you feel like you ever had a hard time receiving help after you ask for help, or you feel like reluctant, you know, like or even like asking for, and I don't want to say the word pardon, but that's the word that keeps wanting to come up, asking for pardons. Um, I feel like if you like live by yourself or the person who has to take care of the bills in your place, right? No matter if you live by yourself or not. Say if like a bill is too high that's not supposed to be that high, or like they charged you wrong or whatever, like, or say, cable is usually like the easy one to be like, I've heard it my entire life, like, call and tell you don't want that channel no more. You don't want that channel no more. They need to take the payment down, sort of thing. And usually, like, I don't know, like, you don't have to come with a sass, right? But I feel like it's interesting how, in a way, that's normalized in my brain, even though I haven't had to do it that much, but I have now. That when you get into the right, into the spot the right spot, and then these people be asking for exorbitant amounts of money for no reason sometimes, you know what I mean? So sometimes you got to just ask for a little pass somewhere. And like, feeling like that, you see how easy that was for me to say? I mean, sometimes you just got to ask for a pass. Like, that's how easy I could feel about it when it comes to certain things. But then going into this conversation with this person today, it was like not that feeling at all, not that easy, whatever feeling. And it's like, of course, I know that like I'm valuable. Of course, I know that pretty essentially my position is safe, you know? Essentially, my position is safe. Yes, I may need to like still rectify some shit, but essentially, my position is safe because I'm good at, not even just good at what I do. I'm beyond. I show up. I'm reliable, you know, on top of being good at what I do. So I attract clientele, like, anywho. So naturally, I'm like, I was so in a different space going into that conversation. And also, too, I think a huge part of it had to do with, well, there's multiple things that it had to do with. One, because I know that I sacrifice a lot of other things and like certain luxuries. Like, there's certain things that I like have sacrificed that I would love to be able to, manage and or like take care of, or be able to finance or be covered when it comes to doing certain things. And so that was a part of it. But two, the person I'm having a conversation with, she's known me half of my life. And so I don't want to feel like a little kid going into the conversation either. I don't want to revert back to like I'm this little person, And so it's just a lot of like things to try and like manage and like reframe and stuff, and having the conversation with um, my source earlier. They were like, well, you're not that person anymore. Like, you're way at a different place. Like, that's not the same shit. Like, you know. Um, and like, adulting always doesn't look great. But I also feel like when we watch this social media world sometimes of like it just being easy for certain people, granted, I do feel like we are stepping into a way where people can make more money a lot quicker, a lot faster. We just got to be able to get on the trains of what that means for us and in our authentic way. And also too the lifestyle, because I feel like there's a lot of homesteading that's getting visualized too. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want the like hardworking, like show up but grinding, or do you want like the entrepreneurial? Do you want the homesteading? Do you want you have your own farm? Maybe you lead farm retreats or something. Maybe you have a retreat center. Maybe you just want to be in nature. Like, do you want to move out of the country? Like, there's so many options, right? And we have so much available to us, and I think sometimes that can be overwhelming in itself. Um, and even though having like for myself personally, having a vision or having a plan. Did you hear that? Having a vision and having a plan of like towards what I want or where I feel like I'm being led to or drawn to or what I'm meant to do. Like that has been somewhat clear, but what that looks like, because I'm trying to also generate like heal generational shit, like I don't need to believe that I need to work myself to death just to be able to survive, not let alone thrive. The old belief, and like it's something that I've been talking about, been working on for years, and so I moved so far from that in one in so many aspects, but then there's still work that needs to be done in other aspects. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that for what it is. Um so this was just a new experience, and I had listened to another like video earlier that was saying something like your anxiety is not like something along the lines of like you may be misreading your anxiety. Maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe it's you being pulled up. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting thought. And it kind of feel like now being even a couple hours later, excuse me, it feels like that. It feels like healing beliefs, healing practices, and practices meaning that's a one. And receiving help, being willing, open to receiving. Like that's a practice. um, Everything is always working out for you. If anybody is into the law of attraction, Abraham Hicks, and maybe I need to throw on a couple more of her videos. Like I've watched so many of her videos in the past, or their videos in the past. And if you know, you know. Um, but maybe I need to watch a couple to just like lock me back into where I've been before, because I like again, what I mentioned over the weekend was like, yeah, I don't even live here. Like this is I'm starting to realize like girl, I walked into a bubble that wasn't mine. Like I don't believe in this like black fucking mindset. But I think I have there's so many pieces of us as humans, and like specifically whether it be my community, whether it be my family, whether it be my unit, whether it be my ancestors, like you know brainwashed beliefs about not having or only having just enough. Like we're great to survive, like we can survive, but like thriving is a real thing. Soft life is a real thing. And here's the thing, I actually do like work, like I like doing stuff. And maybe it's not working, but I do like doing stuff. I don't feel like I need to work all the time. But I like doing stuff. I like producing. I like helping people get along, learn something new. Like these are things that I enjoy. So it's not like even if you took me to a freaking like rainforest where there's only like 20 people in the tribe, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up teaching these kids something, or like leading some classes of some sort to these adults for something. Like I may learn a new trade and then become the teacher. Like that is just what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to do, whether it's farming, whether it's growing food, whether it's learning how to be in nature, like that is what I'm going to do. So I always know that I am going to be of service. That's why one, I was willing to like face the music, because I'm like, look, listen, like I don't want to act like I ain't got nothing to offer, because I got plenty to offer. Okay. Number one. Two, like, let's utilize what gifts I have you know, what gifts I have, um, talents, or gifts. Like it doesn't have to be talents, but definitely they are gifts for sure. That from the Most High. Okay. Um, so in a way, it's kind of like geez, I don't want to say it like that to where it sounds crazy, but like use me, use my information. Like as a coach, we always want somebody to not use us, like abuse us, okay? But like we want people to use our information. We want people to create roadmaps and channels within themselves from what offerings we're able to offer to these, learners, the clients. Just give me a second. I'm gonna choose some ice. Mm-hmm. So, getting into a place of like, okay, here's what I have to offer. This is what I can do. And even when you have the conversation with like, whether it be these other bill collectors too, be like, look, like instead of just avoiding the call, because that's a bigger message too, right? We're always talking about answering the call when it comes to God, answering the call when it comes to the Most High. This is also a part of that. Instead of avoiding the call, because the call is to ask for help, because the help is also giving a blessing. We were talking about that. Help is giving a blessing not only to you, but the person that's giving it to you, the person that is receiving it from you to whatever, like however the trickle down effect happens. And it just gives praise to the Most High. Because to me, and not to make it sound so like whatever to whomever, but like imagine how proud, it's just like having kids, bro. It's like having kids and watching them share. And you get so proud of them. Oh my God, you're sharing, or you helped a kid up. Don't we love seeing that shit? We love seeing that. Somebody's running a race, and like if somebody's really stumbling, if somebody has fallen down, like not like, okay, not like you just did a bad job or something. Like, no, like you, like unknown sources pulled you down to the ground, or you're stumbling and you're crawling or whatever, and somebody picks you up. Everybody loves those fucking videos. Everybody loves those videos. You know what I mean? And even this weekend, there's another like video of these kids at a wrestling match, and one of the kids was clearly like had some physical do you still call them disabilities? I don't know, forgive me. Yeah, sure. So he had some like physical things, he stumbled, like he wasn't, he was, like I said. And then the other kid was, God, I am not about to be politically correct right now because I can't think of the proper words tonight. It's a little late. I don't know, fully able bodied? I don't know. But the other kid was, I don't know. You know what I mean? Fully functioning. Had full control of all of his motor skills. Had full control of all of his motor skills, and the other person didn't necessarily. Had some a level of control for sure. Um, but the narrator in the video, who was taking somebody else's video, was just saying like how good the kid was, who has full control, because instead of like just letting the other kid win, he actually like put on like a little bit of a fight, but not a fight. Like he kind of like made it seem like he was like they were really doing a full wrestling match, and like he would pin him, let the guy pin him a little bit, but then he would like kind of get out of it, and then the guy would like pin him a little bit, and he would like get out of it, and then even at the end, when the kid was allowing the other guy to pin him, um, the one who was like still, getting all of, or God, how do you speak about this better? The kid that had less full control over their, or less control of their full motor skills, um, was like gonna get off before the like final pin countdown, and the kid who did have full control had pulled the other kid on top so that he can get full credit for the pin, that it was an official pin, like rule regulation pin. And like, we love seeing that. We love seeing that. And not to say that that's what you're moving like, you know, um, and not to say that you're the runner that fell, but I'm just saying that the idea of like, even when you think about, don't isn't one of those like hype things that's been on like YouTube and TikTok, all these socials, right? Whether it be with like either a kid with another kid or a kid and their two parents, and like they give one parent one cookie, the kid two cookies, the other parent zero cookies, and then it's like everybody uncovers their thing, and then when the kid sees that the one parent doesn't have a cookie to see whether or not they're going to give them a cookie, we always want them to give them the damn cookie. We always want somebody to be able to share. We always want somebody to be able to help, you know? And that like we love that. We love that. So why are we so reluctant as people sometimes to not ask for help? I want us to heal that, and I want me to heal that, and I want y'all to heal that, but I definitely want me to heal that, okay? Okay? And I don't want it to have to be where I get to a dire place of needing to ask for help. If I need help, I want to be able to ask for it sooner, you know? And I don't know why it like in some areas it's fine, in other areas it's not. It's like asking for somebody to invest in your business. Like I'm more okay with that than asking for help because I don't know, like because I'm in a rock and a hard place. Why? 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 It's literally the same scenario. It's the same scenario, you know? And asking before, because it's like, okay, example, if you know a thing or two about business, then you understand confirmation. In business, they'll be like, so say you either want to scale your business, say it's even starting a business at different phases of your business, say you just want it to grow, but you need so much like capital to put up the new growth, to scale it, whatever, right? To put, get the sources and materials or whatever. One, grants. That's asking for help. That's asking for help. Nobody should have a fucking problem with that, right? And like, granted, the grant writing process is a process, and you got to learn how to do it, and it takes like jumps and hoops and all that stuff, and it can intimidate some people. But also, if you get the right resources to help you, and got the right connects to help you, like you can get some good money. Like that's free money, but that's also asking for help because you have to pitch yourself in a certain way. But say you're not going about it that way. Shark Tank, that's all that's about too. Pitching yourself, asking for help. Sure, you've put so much money in your business. Sure, you can usually, well, depending on the business and how much money you've made and how things need to turn around, you could technically put all like your revenue or all your freaking revenue back into trying to scale it, or you can keep that revenue, use some of that, but ask for somebody else to put up some money so that you don't have to use yours, pay them back a little bit of extra on top, or give them a little bit of stake in your business. But now you can scale your business way bigger and without putting yourself in this like landslide situation. Because if you do say have like $200,000, right? But the increases that you want to make for your business is like $175,000 or something like that. And technically you can do it. That means you could still cover your payroll. So I don't know, for a couple of months. But you don't want to be that fucking thin. You don't want to be that tight. You don't want to be that like, even if it was only 100,000 out of the 200,000. Heck, even if it was 50,000 out of the 100,000, then you can really get somebody to cover that shit real quick and give them a little do on top and see how quickly you could turn around versus like now investing just your own shit into that, but then not having the resources to do things in certain ways or having to cut somebody's hours here and there. Bro, are y'all even paying attention to the news? Do y'all need to read some about some business because y'all can see. I don't want to talk about politics on here. Okay, let me just let y'all know. I don't really want to talk about politics on here. Okay, um, at least not yet, and maybe not on this channel. Okay, I would need to start a whole different one. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't want to go there, but Spirit is like, say something. And I'm like, I don't want to say it. But if you're around in this time, just the shutting down of certain things, the reopening of things, the closing of things, the reopening of things, the layoffs and the rehires and all of that stuff, like that is just a version of him. Well, one, him doing the shit that he was doing way before he became who he is now. One. Two, it's a way for him to not only just like cut spending, because that's like the rhetoric, right? Cut spending and fraud and waste and abuse and all that stuff. That's not just that. It's a way to not have to fucking pay people so that you can have a bigger bottom line. Like, and he's doing it all over the place. But okay, I digress. That's not what I want to talk about today. That's not what I want to talk about today, okay? And y'all may have y'all feelings. Y'all don't need to come for me. Y'all can leave me alone. Mind your business. I have my feelings. I have my emotions. I have my 2 cents in my side of the universe where I live. If you weren't okay with that, push. Okay. Out the chat. Anyways, so dropping back into these things. Things are always working out. Asking for help. The offer. The offer. So yeah, I made my offer. I had a conversation. The conversation went better than what I expected it to go. And because I do believe in not like overly characterizing my situation in a negative light, because I do want to be positive, because I do hold out hope. Like even to talk to somebody and be like, hey, I'm kind of in this rough, tight spot. I don't want to call it a rough, tight spot. I don't want to call it that. I don't want to believe in that. Okay. Okay. But what this brings up, and this is not how I wanted to bring up this topic, but the word was downplay. Like, why do we downplay things? Right? And I thought about this from the same conversation I was having. I was telling them that I had like intuition about something, but instead of just being like, because sometimes I like to make the joke and be telling people like, I'm half psychic or I'm a psychic. And but sometimes I feel like it freaks certain people out. So sometimes I'd be like, okay, maybe don't use that word with this person. So then I like downplay, and instead of being like, oh, like my intuition told me, because also then I also know that they're still a little like on the fence with some of this. But then so then I said, I called it spidey senses. Like that's so easily like more acceptable even from people who you know don't believe in like psychics and all of that stuff and clairvoyance and all of that stuff. But then it just made me think of like, okay, cool, I told her that because I was like, because it really, like, I was like, I call it spidey senses, but it was like, really, no, I had a full download that somebody was in the midst of a different major transition, and then 2 days later it was confirmed with my own eyes, and then days later after that, conversation with that person, you know. They even that person that confirmed what was going on for them, that person was like, "Did this one person tell you?" And I'm like, "No." I even told her. I was like, well, and then with her, I was a little bit more like frank. I was just like, I'm half psychic. I be half psychic. I just be knowing. I just be knowing. um, because she was like, nobody knows. Like, because she teaches like a team. She was like, they don't know. She was like, only this one person knows. I said, no, I know. And then I saw. And then you confirm. So I'll be knowing. I'll be knowing. Uh-huh. But like, it just makes me think, why do we downplay certain things? And I'm sure I have more to say about that later because I feel like I had more to say about it in the car. Um, but like we downplay things to make things more palpable. It's even just like we do that even with our own joy though and our happiness. It's like, don't tell people that you got good things going on. You got to keep it to yourself. And best believe, like, I also believe that. Okay. Like, I do believe you can't tell everybody everything, right? But I also think the reason why we can't tell everybody everything is because we normalize complaining. That's why we can't tell everybody everything. I think if you were dealing and like with a group that is a more positive, that doesn't necessarily complain too much, and not like fake we don't complain, like, too blessed to be stressed, but yet you're gonna be like, this thing is stressing me, over there. Like, not that. I mean, like, seriously, you're just like at peace with so many things. But in those spaces, I feel like you can share dreams. I feel like even in those spaces, like when we would do retreats and everybody's like cleared out their systems a little bit more, and we were able to talk about what we want and our dreams and our wants, and it felt like it was a place for the dreams and the wants and the wishes and desires to grow, to grow. It didn't feel like, because I said it in this group now, because there's like, like it's going to get hated on. But I feel like when it comes to spaces outside of those places, it like we're always, and one of the things that I like had to stop practicing a long time ago, that was like the start of my um abundance thing. And even now, I still have to remind myself too, because it's so normalized that it's easy to fall into the trap. It's easy to fall into the trap. But the what's worse game, bro, people be playing the who has a worse game all the time. It's like you meet up with a friend or coworker or family member, whoever, and you're like, hey girl, what's going on? And you're like, I'm doing good, but life is life, and that's how it starts, right? Life is life, and oh yeah, I feel you, life is life. And sometimes, good girlfriends, we can like move from that, right? We can like go into a positive space. Some people who aren't in that space in their minds, who, you know, who could also be good girlfriends with each other too, but like it can be like, oh girl, I went through, but this weekend you would not believe I had to deal with this and then this, and girl, and this too. And then the response from the friend or the friends, right? Because it can be a communal situation. I hear what you mean, girl. Like, I went through that too. I'm going through that now. Matter of fact, mine is even worse than that. You know, and they may not even say it like that, but they're like, girl, I'm going through it too. And can you believe this? Mine is this, and this. And like, almost, even if you're not trying to say that it's worse than that, how you're pitching it, how you're pitching it is trying to win the medal for who has it worse, who has it tougher. I don't like that game. I don't fucking like that game. I don't want to win that game neither. I don't like that game. I never want to fucking play that game. And I never, like, I don't want to win the game. Even if I get wrapped into playing the game on accident, I don't want to be the winner of the game. I don't want to be the winner of the game. Yes, I have it better. Yes, I have it better. That's what I want. Yes, I have it better. I do have it better. I do have it better. My situation isn't as bad. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. But also, too, it's not a fucking competition. And nobody can say what feels worse for what person wins. Because my fucking like stresses over whether it be like money or whether it be like moments of feeling like whatever, alone or whatever, even though I don't feel like that now. Um, like those moments, like some people can be going through the same exact experiences and be 100% perfectly fine and okay and dandy and moving and grooving. Okay. So it's really not a fair comparison to play the game in the first place. Let alone, do you really want to win it? Ugh, I don't want it. Ugh. Gross. Ugh. I don't want it. Disgusting. Disgusting. It literally makes me nauseous. Gross. I don't want to play the game. But downplay. Why do we downplay our gifts? Why do we downplay our gifts? And that goes into like sharing our gifts. But maybe that's why that's like another conversation for later. But I do want to say sharing our gifts when it comes to being of service, because that was next on my other list. Being of service. So getting to an agreement with um, the person that I needed to have the conversation with today. I am going to need to, you know, work a little bit more on a day that I helping out on this on a Saturday more, right? Um, and mind you, I was just really, and I've been giving. I still like will give, like still will show up on a Saturday early morning, but I get particular about giving specifically the rink my Saturdays because when I tell you they had my Saturdays from like 18 to 26, like all of them, with very, very, very few off. And they used to have a lot of my Sundays on top of that too. So, you know, recently or in the last whatever, I've been like, well, I'll teach this time, but like at a certain thing, I won't teach. So, but I am offering myself another block after that morning situation, early morning situation, um, to help. And so they're taking that. I offered my help. Oh, mm, mm, mm. Asking for help by offering help. Asking for help by offering help and then them taking me up on that offer. And even as I left that meeting, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be back on Saturdays for a little bit. I didn't feel terrible saying that or whatever, or even felt so like heavy or burdened or anything like that. But it was just like, just something different that I need to wrap my head around. So I was just telling myself, hey, girl, this is what we doing now. And then, like, the next following thought was, obviously there's somebody who needs my help on Saturdays. I don't know who I'm meant to influence. I don't know who I'm meant to help, but I know I'm meant to help somebody. And every Saturday that I show up, I know I will help somebody. So I was just in a space of like, well, obviously somebody that comes on Saturday or only on Saturdays needs my help. Like somebody or multiple. There's a gang, you know? Um, and being open to that, open to receiving that, and open to experiencing that. And the other day when I did say, like, asking for help, you know, I said opportunities, waves, and blessings. Opportunities, ways provides ways, create waves of change, newness, freshness, and then blessings. Like, it's a blessing. One, it's a blessing to be able to do this job. Two, it's a blessing to be able to help. Three, it's a blessing to be able to be somebody that's going to influence somebody for the rest of their life. Do you know how many people come back to skating years later? Do you know how many times you can even read somebody who doesn't even skate anymore? Say it's a skating video, and somebody who hasn't skated for years and years be like, oh my God, I haven't skated since I was a child, but I learned this one thing. Like, they remember coaches, they remember those experiences, or they remember, even if they don't remember me per se, even though I'm pretty sure they remember me. Even though if they don't remember me per se, like, I want them to be like, oh, remember that time that like I unlocked, because there's a moment, right? Well, no, that was like self opened. So say it's even that though. Say it's even that, right? So I was gonna use the example first of learning my scratch spin, right? And it's the spin across your leg, you pull it down, and if you spin really fast, you can pull your arms overhead, right? You can pull them down, you can do other stuff with your arms, whatever. I don't know, but you can spin really fast. One of my favorite spins, right? But I remember learning that spin. I remember practicing that spin on the public session at the rink that I was at. I remember where I was at on the ice and it unlocking. And like, granted, maybe there was a coach, maybe there was an assistant, maybe there was one of the two that had given me information about it the week ahead, right? Or leading up to it. But in my self practice, I had practiced and did it so many times where I felt like it was like not working. And I tried to like logic it out in my brain, right? Like, how is this supposed to work? And then I was like, well, if I like push my leg around a little bit more, like, you can't leave it out. You can't leave it out too far out to the side because it will pull you back this way and you need to cross your leg this way. So it's just a little counterproductive, right? But I was like, if I pushed into my spin more, or really like, it was like some level of unlockment to where it was like, I couldn't do it before. I did so many spins and I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden I was able to do it and I was able to recreate it and recreate it and recreate it and been doing it ever since, right? And so, granted, some coach could have helped me do that. Some coach, not in that moment, but some coach could have given me some information that unlocked while I was in the middle of my own self practice. And I don't remember who that could be. It could have been my private lesson coach. It could have been a group class coach. It could have been an assistant that was just skating around, you know. But whoever it was, I'm grateful for. grateful for, super grateful for. Um, and that's what I mean in terms of like they don't have to remember me. They don't have to remember me per se. But if my help helps them unlock something for themselves, that's what I'd be here for. Duh. That's what I'd be here for. So asking for help leading to so many different like blessings, and it just feels like there's still a bit to be uncovered with how to see how this is going to go. um but I'm excited. There's solutions on the board. um Things are always working out for me, thank God. Things are always working out for me and you, though. Things are always working out for you, but things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And like I said, if you don't know about Abraham Hicks and you want to work on, your abundance mindset and, understanding whether it be your purpose or what you believe is possible, you know, that's a helpful tool. They have a bajillion, quadrillion videos. Okay. Uh, if you want to go to the seminar, you can go there too. But Abraham Hicks, and that's one of the mantras that come from Abraham Hicks. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me in my greatest good. My things are always working out for me for my highest good, and the highest good of all involved. Right. So that was the being of service part 2. Yeah, and it's like not the worst thing in the world, you know. Like I think that was the thing too. Even in the original email before we had this meeting, just to even like what led us to this meeting, it was like, well, I made sure that what I put as an offering of what I could give, it was something I was willing to give and that didn't feel like it was going to be detrimental or, yeah, detrimental to my existence. Because again, I'm also trying to practice not working myself into burnout, you know, and it's easy for me to. That is something that is so well practiced that it's easy for me to overload my plate and work myself so hard into burnout without like, and the more I work, sometimes the less I self care. So I'm trying to practice my balance a little bit more and not trying to quickly insert self-care into small tiny little pockets because that doesn't feel balanced for me. For maybe in like somebody who's a fire sign who's an Aries, because I see my sister and I see my friend who are Aries who are like they love to just like stick something in little pockets. Like that doesn't feel good for me. That feels good for them. That doesn't feel good for me. Like I like to take my time a little bit, and not with everything. I'm very like I can be quick and fast moving in certain areas and certain things. But when it comes to my self-care, if I'm trying to put that into my system, I'm not trying to like, fucking wrap that shit up so quick. I want to take and I'm not trying to take the longest time with it either, but I want to feel relaxed. Isn't that the point? So trying to make sure that I find balance of offering help, being able to give it on top of what other demands I already have going on and what other demands may be coming up for me even in the next couple of months. That's within reason, so that I can make sure that I'm taking care of myself and carving out time to take care of myself in the right way, in the timely way that I want to take care of myself. So I don't know. I came on here just to give gratitude. I came on here 1:19 on the clock. Woo woo. So excited. So exciting. 1:19:19. Yes. Woo woo. I just want to give gratitude because I'm grateful for things working out. I'm grateful for, you know, faith, and miracles, and blessings. No, I'm not lucky, but I'm definitely blessed. Yes. Okay. Okay. There is one more thing that I wanted to say. And this is just to like wrap up the whole facing the music. I wrote down first, sorry, music makes you lose control. The spirit said it's time. I hear you. It just turned 11 o'clock. It's 1:20 on the clock. I'm about to get off. Um, Helping me to identify what I can do better. And I think that is the thing that I want to take from all of this. Like, that's the asking for help, the believing that everything is working out for me, um, offering my own help and being of service to other people. Like, it's helping me to identify what I want to do better, you know, what and what I can do. There you go. I was like, why does that word not look like that word that I just said? Helping me to identify what I can do better, you know. And granted, I think going into this conversation and even the weeks leading up, I knew that there were spaces where I know I needed or should, in my space, in my mindset, felt like I should be doing better. I also, too, feel like I've been in a space of creating the space to make sure that I can do better. 1:21 on the clock. Um, but I think even in that conversation, it just helped me get clear on one, okay, buckling up my bootstraps a little bit and putting some, like, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a boots on the ground sort of energy. Maybe that's the next video. I got my boots on the ground. Probably. That may be the next video for sure. Um, and what that means, you know, and like that 10 toes down. So, yeah, helping me to identify what I can do better. I know that I've been, doing what I can and doing my best. And now that I've had this conversation, because sometimes these stress, stress moments, almost like got goosebumps, but I definitely felt it in my heart, um, stops us from, or it's like pulling energy away from us in a way. And even in having the conversation, I feel like there's a level of energy that's been restored to where now I feel like, oh, I have more energy to give. But this other thing was freaking like siphoning me, Like this worry, this stress was siphoning my fucking energy. Like that's what was really going on. And that's what stress does to us. It siphons. That's why stress is the number one fucking killer. It siphons our energy. And until we're able to release some of this stress, we won't be able to like give ourselves more in situations that we do want to actually give and show up more in. So, is it the chicken or the egg that comes first? Maybe it's just the idea, and the idea is the asking for help. So I think that's how I want to leave this. I don't know why I want to end it like that, but that's how we doing it, and that's what spirit feels like is cool for us too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. I definitely still had a lot to say, but I had a lighter load of the things that I wanted to say. So I hope it resonated. If it did, I want you to drop like one of those like egg and chick emojis, right? Chicken and like the egg, the chicken that's cracking out of the egg. Ballin'. Ballin. Or you can drop like a basketball or something like that. What else could you drop? Or a music note. Or a music note. So I hope you have a great week. I will check back in with you guys in a couple of days. If it's not 3 days, it may be 5. It may be 5, but I will be back. That's the point, and I'm so excited about that. Like now I know I can say that I'm going to take a break, and I know I'm going to come back because I've been consistent with it. And that's what I wanted to say. Happy last video was my 50th video. This is my 51st video. Yay! Yay! Milestone 51st video. Made it past 50. So we're excited. All right. Love y'all. Take care. Take care of your spirit. Take care of yourself. Take a bath. Okay. Take a walk. Okay. Take a breath. Okay. And be happy. Have faith. Have faith. And be open to receive. Love y'all. Love y'all. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.